In this video, I'm going to be living for 100 days in North Kiwatau Valley. I'll be laying a strong foundation in a massive town I'm creating. I've built and also installed some mods that'll speed this up and make combat feel nice and crisp as well. This supercut contains all 9 of the first episodes of the Escape the Grind series, with a few tweaks to the editing for your viewing enjoyment. So, if that sounds interesting to you, sit back, get comfy, and enjoy. Alright, so first things first, I started by making a starting point on my map, as I'd like to remember this for later on. Now, early stages in this game, you start out with pretty much nothing, so we need to make primitive tools as well as a primitive outfit. So we need to make a primitive axe, a wooden club, and a wooden bow. The footage quality does get better also, so don't fear. This was my first ever video, so I didn't have the best recording at the time. Right, here we are making our first primitive outfit.
Gordon Freeman in the flesh.
Now that we have the primitive tools and the outfit, we can move on. Here's some of our first challenges, all done, and here is our first encounter with the unclean.
First blood.
And there is the first kill of many in the series. Now that we've completed some challenges and made our beginner items, we can head to the trader and begin some mercenary work, after we make the bone knife, of course. There we go, massacred a few zombies, and here we are at Wrecked Feeds. This ornery old fella gives you some good quests, as they're very useful early on. We're going to try and do as many as we can, as quickly as we can, to try and get that bicycle. The bicycle is crucial for early game, helps you get around much quicker, and is something I like to have before day 7 if possible.
Nice.
That's a serious POI, we're going to check it out another day. This is our first encounter with a sprinter. They can be quite lethal early on.
Phew.
First blood. Double kill. Dominating. Mega kill.
We nearly got overrun there, but with some level-headed thinking and some accurate stabbing, I think we made it through. Time to get on with Rect's quest.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Package collected. It's back to Rect's to deliver the goods.
Yeah, blah, blah.
And now we've first laid eyes on our future home. This is the remnants of the bombed out church in my local town. The plan is to get enough resources to eventually renovate and resurrect this beautiful building and claim it as our home. Here we are at Dell's Cafe. I have to get in and collect the White River supplies and bring them back to Rect before I can get paid. However, it's getting quite late, and I probably won't be able to make it back to Rect before nightfall, so I'll likely be staying in Dell's for the night in order to stay safe. I don't know how many undead are in this place, so I better be careful. But before it's too late, let's begin. There we go. It's already 10:30 and I still haven't got the supplies. I'm going to have to barricade this place and make sure I can stay safe throughout the night. I can already hear them banging at the door. It won't be long before they smash through the glass door and they're in here with me. I'm not a high enough level to survive an onslaught of more than one or two at a time. I just managed to get that wooden block in place before they got in. If I hadn't have gotten that block in there, I think it would have been curtains for us. We survived the first onslaught. Now we need to clear the rest of the building and make sure the rest of the doors are also safe. I know it's only night one. Being such a low level, venturing outside at night when we have sprinters or nightmarish fast zombies really isn't a good method for survival. You can probably hear that there's a good few of them out there, so I need to scrounge enough wood out of this place in order to make a makeshift barricade that'll allow me to kill them without them getting in. I've got to quickly harvest as much wood as I can, otherwise the barricades won't be strong enough to hold them back, and I won't have enough wood to repair them if broken. Alright, there we go. We survived that horde, and for the rest of the night all we did was batten down the hatches. I then did a little bit of leveling up before I made my way back to Trader Rect. Alright, this time it's a clear quest. That means we have to erase all unclean life in this location. We've got to dig into our primal rage to do this for the first time. Feels good to blow off some steam and send some unclean to their final judgment. My bloodlust was so great and so blinding that after clearing the greasy spoon where our quest was, I actually went over to this location which is the Curran residence. I'll be spending a lot more time in this little place. I chose the Curran residence because it's really close to the church, has a fantastic underground hideout that I'm going to make my temporary residence, so it'll be easy to defend and a nice place to lay low. Now that I've set up some crates, reinforced the walls and added some hatches, the hideout has officially become my new home. Now we're off to do another quick quest. More buried supplies. This one shouldn't be too difficult.
Bingo.
Excellent. There we go. We got wrecked a new CD. And the new CD definitely suits him a lot better. Once again, it's off to do some more buried supplies. Every quest we do gets us one step closer to that beautiful, beautiful bicycle.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Only my weapon understands me.
As the third night arrived, I started to feel a little bit more confident. I could see that the job location was just down the road, and I thought I'd give it a go, even if night was in full swing. After all, what was the worst that could happen? Well, that was a close one. Guess I won't be venturing out at night like that again until I'm a bit stronger. At least we survived, albeit with a few more scars than before. I think I'll wait until morning before doing that job for Rect after all. Daytime is a bit of a different story, isn't it? 6 unclean ones attack me at once, and all of them are no match for me. It may seem excessive, but at this point in the game, doing quests for traders seems to be one of the more speedy and efficient ways of leveling up and getting some good equipment early on. Once we get a little bit more comfortable, we won't be doing as many quests. Finally, we've completed enough Tier 1 quests to unlock our first method of transportation, the bicycle. Now that I have a faster way to travel, I'll be testing it with a quick quest, then it's back to the homestead to do some home improvement. Finally, we have the bike, and boy does it make a difference. We're already at the quest, and we're going to be back at Rect in no time. Now it's back to the homestead to do some modifications, repairs, and make some barricades for the outside. Then we'll finish up episode 1. Alright, with that final headshot, we can relax for the time being. With some improvements made to the house, and our shiny new bike parked right outside, that will conclude the first episode of the Escape the Grind series. We've got a decent start going so far, and we're in a good position for the next part of our adventure, getting our first horde base ready for Night 7. We will also be exploring some POIs as well. Thank you for tuning in and following along so far. I hope you've enjoyed this first installment. Also, a big thanks to all who watched this live on Twitch and followed. You made it way more enjoyable and interactive. Goodbyes can be hard, so I'll try to leave you on a positive note. So try to remember, whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honour. So until next time, strength and honour, my friends. Red lorry, yellow lorry. Red lorry, yellow lorry. Mwah. The children! Get the children! Welcome back to the Escape the Grind series. In the last episode, we set ourselves up with a good start in North Kiwatau Valley, our home. We found our future home, We found a nice subterranean hideout that we will use for the foreseeable future, and we did a bunch of quests for our friendly neighborhood trader, Rect. This earned us our first method of transportation, the bicycle. Now with our new bike, we can get through quests at a much quicker pace and get ourselves some good cash and rewards. We start the day in the cave and begin today's journey with some quests for Rect. Our main goal for this episode is to get ready for our first horde on night 7. The side objectives are to do a little POI exploring and some quests. This will increase our funds and get some items or equipment that will help us survive the horde night. First things first, we're going to head on over to Black Bus Mechanical to finish the quest that gave me a good humbling in the last episode. It's a clear quest, so we'll be mopping up some Zeds that have taken a bit of shelter here. It's a very low level quest, so we shouldn't really have any problems, especially now that it's daytime anyway. Now that we've released those poor souls from their mortal coil, we can head back to Rect and pick up our rewards and get another work order. We're probably going to do this a few more times. We're only on day 5, so we're still doing mercenary work for now. Once I get more powerful and can stand on my own 2 feet a bit better, I'll start building the main foundations of Peacemaker Grove. It's a big project, but with some time and good planning, I should be able to make it work. This next quest is a clear and fetch quest in one. That means I'm going to have to go to this place called the McCormick Residence, a small farmhouse. I'm going to have to clear all the unclean, and I'm going to have to find a hidden satchel that my colleague has left me. Now I've got the satchel and cleared out the location, I went back to my hideout just to do a little bit of inventory management before heading on. I really do like this little place. It's very quaint, but I do feel safe with this little bunker underground. While exploring, I came across this place. It's called Buster Drivewells. This place definitely has a story to tell. I decided to take a bit of a detour from my quest to O'Malley Oats and instead went to investigate the ex-survivor stronghold, Johnnytown. Little did I know how vast and interesting this place was. Solar panels are very useful, especially in my game. I've modified it so that when you take them apart, there's a chance of getting a solar bank and the actual solar panel itself. So I'll be taking note of those, and I'll be coming back to collect them another day. You'll probably notice I keep looking behind myself and keep looking in doorways and stuff like that. The reason for that is because a lot of these POIs, they're built like dungeons with plenty of traps. And the amount of time zombies will spawn behind you and fall through roofs and stuff like that, it's really best to watch your back in these places. While exploring this normal home, it seems there's something a little bit more mysterious lurking beneath. Seeing this place as it is really makes me wish I could see it in its heyday. Clearly there was a group of competent survivors, or ex-survivors, that were living here. Would have been nice to work with them and trade with them, get to know them. Also makes it a little bit somber realizing that most of these unclean ones I'm dispatching were likely the creators of this underground community that is no more. But we can't feel sorry for every unclean one we dispatch. We are, after all, sending them to the afterlife finally. Deus Vult. We must try not to hate the unclean, for it was not their choice to become so hollow. Look at this place. Some kind of millionaire's doomsday bunker we've broken into. Oh, here we go. We've kicked a hornet's nest here. That could have gone a little bit better. I didn't like missing 5 headshots in a row, but we got them in the end. Reinforced chest. Good job we have a stone pickaxe, which will take us 20 minutes to open this box. Yep, I know. Before you say it, I probably should have used lockpicks, but you know, we're here now. Okay, so now that we've explored most of the POI, we're finishing up. You can hear by the screeching and hissing that we're surrounded. These are the zombies we could hear when we were underground. The problem I run into here is that I don't want to be overwhelmed by the zombies, so what I do is I do my little hatch trick here to block off the zombies so they at least have some barricade to tangle with before I open the doors. But as you'll see now, there you go. For some strange reason, the door is broken and doesn't want to open. And let's see if the other doors work. And there we have it. All three of the doors leading out of this place are broken. I don't know if that's because they were damaged before I activated them, but basically we're trapped. I tried repairing the doors, not going to work. And I tried smashing one of the wall pieces. Each block is 5,000 health, so here's where I come up with the master plan. If I can't get out that way, I'll get out through the roof. That way I only have to smash one block and I can get out that way. Now let's see how this pans out. Finally. Ooh, they've stopped bashing on the doors downstairs. That's not a good sign. Well, we've gotten rid of those ones. Now we have to deal with whatever is going on here. Pulling a Neo. Putting a hatch, just in case she sprints straight at me. No, she didn't sprint at me. She just evaporated. Was vaporized by the bone knife, I guess. And with that, Johnnytown has been looted. That POI has been finished. What a POI that is. Such a massive place. Such an unassuming little house right beside the trader turns into a giant subterranean bunker. Very, very interesting indeed. Glad we got that one finished. We are going to drop off some things. We're going to pick up the O'Malley Oats satchel, finish that quest. Then we're going to mark Johnnytown as cleansed. We're going to put a big cross out front to remind ourselves this place has been redeemed. Then, once that's done, we're going to call it a night. I did want to make a quick pit stop at home, just as you saw there, to make the nerd armor. All of those books we've been hoarding for ages, I wanted to finally give some of them a read. Now, level 2, that does give us some benefit. There is I think it's 20% chance that we can get extra skill points. So I'm going to force my character to read as many magazines as possible now. It's 10%. There you go. So there's a 10% chance we get an extra skill point. I think it's worth it. I'm not waiting any longer. I want to get some of these skills under my belt. Instead of just doing the quest, what we're going to do is we're going to place the cross in front of Johnnytown. That'll indicate that this place has been cleansed. Deus Vult. Now Johnnytown is officially cleansed. I did want to do some horde-based scoping in this episode, but as Johnnytown was so vast, I think we'll do that in the next episode instead. We'll conclude this episode as it stands. More quests were done, and a major undead stronghold in our town was vanquished. We can consider this a win, and some good progress. We must depart once again, my friends, so I will leave you with something that I think will help you the next time you come to a crossroads in life. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. So, walk with a straight path and walk with honor, my friends. Welcome back to the Escape the Grind series. In the last episode, we did some more work orders for Wrecked. And we decided to explore and cleanse the Johnnytown Survivor House. In this episode, we'll be scouting out and barricading a location to survive the 7-day horde. We'll probably cleanse some smaller POIs and maybe do a quest or two for our good friend Wrecked. So get yourself a nice hot drink, a good snack, sit back and enjoy. We pick up where we left off last episode, in Kodiak Construction. This is a smaller POI just beside Johnnytown. I wanted to check it out to see if it held anything interesting, and the lower levels didn't disappoint. Now that we've put down the undead beast, we can clear up any leftover loot and we'll mark this place as cleansed. In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Now we have to retrieve the satchel that was left for Wrecked in the crypts. This shouldn't take us too long. Then, I think we'll have a look for a suitable horde base location. After crawling through and clearing the crypt, I decided to head home quickly and offload some loot. I also made myself a new stone axe, as well as a level 3 hunting knife for good measure. We can finally retire the good old bone knife we got in episode 1. It did us well, and was a trusty little beginner weapon, but for now, it's on to bigger and better things. Now we're on the hunt for the new horde base. So we decided to cycle around the town. We had a look at the gun range down the road. And then we went back. And we kept searching until we found this place. The Vacon residence. Something about this building, I don't know, it just seemed to stand out for me. So I thought, you know what, I think this is the place. I forgot how long it took me to clear that massive clay pile. Now that that's gone, I do need to barricade up the house and clear the house out. I don't want to forget about the giant gaping hole in the front lawn that will lead straight into the basement. That'd be very bad to forget that on Horde Night. Another reinforced chest that I refuse to lockpick. Here we go. Gotta barricade this up. They will spill in and attack us from underneath, just like stereotypical undead. Now we've got to barricade up these windows. I like to use scaffolding ladders. You can shoot through them. You can also use melee weapons through them. Cobblestone will be good enough for night 7. For night 14, though, which is a long way away, we'll have to use something a little bit stronger for that night. Now I just need to get that quest finished for Wrecked, get a few items, and then we're back to fortifying. Now we're going to do some resource harvesting, just to make sure we have enough to make blocks, to repair blocks, do all that kind of stuff before and during Horde Night. Now it's back to reinforcing the inside of the house. I'm going to be taking away any wooden furniture in front of the walls, adding bars to the windows, and repairing the windows as well. I'm also barricading off this little hallway. Adding a load of my own doors as well. They're far stronger than the default doors that these houses come with. Now I'm also adding what's called an airlock, so that you can, if they break in, you can shut them off, get behind another barricade. Best thing with these early bases for me is to just keep doing airlocks. Something I didn't realise though is when I did this airlock, there's actually a gap at the top. It's not big enough for anything to get through, but it's just annoying. I do fix this at a later date. For now it will do. Adding airlocks here in the bathroom as well. Now I'm cobblestoning the outside just to give it that extra level of protection for day 7. Here's where my first line of defense is. These are called punji pits, or spike pits. Basically where you just dig trenches, fill them full of spikes. In this early game, all I have is wood. Wooden spikes don't last very long, but they do the trick. They weaken the enemies before they get to you. I'm adding punji pits all over, and I'm also adding a row of spikes around the outside to be extra sure. Gotta clear these hedges because they'll rip through them in seconds. And this rear door, I decided to put as many spikes around the back as I had. Now we're running out of time, so I'm just placing spikes all over the place just to divert the unclean to where I want them to go. Another airlock here. We have the Horde base mostly barricaded, and night is rapidly approaching. I just need to add an escape upstairs, and then I'll be finished. I'm glad I didn't forget anything really important about the safety of this place as a Horde base. That was unreal. I can't believe I forgot to clear the upstairs. Oh well, it's done now. And now I'm adding another airlock at the top of the stairs. There's a big issue with that airlock. Big issue with it. I didn't realise at the time. We'll find out another day. Okay, now we finally finished barricading the house and clearing the upstairs after we forgot to. Now we're just doing a final loop around the house, making sure we've got all the windows and doors barricaded. No easy ways for them to get in. There's a few things I would have done better with this horde base, I can see that already. But for something done in a pinch, I think it's going to hold out well. Right, got to find out where they're coming from, and quick. Front seems clear. Sides don't seem to be getting attacked. Oh, I hear them. Back door. Yeah, back door. Right, here we go. is Horde Night officially over. We survived Night 7 without casualty. We had one big close call when they broke the hatch down, but other than that, we sailed through without issue. After the Horde Night, I went around and collected all the loot and did some inventory rearranging, but I'll leave it at that for this episode. Thank you again for joining me in this chapter of our adventure through the apocalypse. A big thanks to all who watched this live as well. It was great to interact with you all. Now that we have to part ways, I'll leave you with a simple but pertinent piece of advice. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. So with that, I'll say, work hard, my friends, and I'll see you next time. Welcome back to the Escape the Grind series. In the last episode, we again did some work orders correct. We found and fortified a local property for Horde Night, and we fought for our lives on the 7-day Horde. In this episode, we'll be building our first mineshaft. We'll do some spicy Horde-based modifications, and we'll be fighting the 14-day Horde. So get yourself a nice snack, a hot drink, sit back, and enjoy. We start the day off with a small bit of forestry, so we can have some wooden resources for our mineshaft. Then we'll start by building our base shaft and accompanying prospector building. What I'm doing here is I'm building the main mineshaft itself. I'm not building anything grand or fancy. I'm just going with something basic and rudimentary, just so I can get deep into the ground and start hoarding some of those good resources. Maybe later on in the playthrough I will build something a little bit more grand for the mineshaft, but until then we're sticking with something very simple. Wood is a great resource in this world. It's easy to get your hands on early game, and it's useful even in late stages, but for somewhat different reasons. In the later stage, it's really very useful when building scaffolding for bigger builds. That way you can take it down easily instead of requiring a pickaxe or something else. It can also be used to fill campfires or forges if you don't like using coal. Right about here, I decided that I didn't want to have something incredibly simple. I wanted to make sure there was some detail that wasn't just a box. That's why I added the glass roof that gives me a bit of natural light, and I decided to add this, what would you call it, storefront style look with the Old West style roof at the top there. I also decided to strengthen it with some cobblestone, and I like the look of the cobblestone walls with wooden corners. We don't have a paintbrush or paint yet, but when we do get that in later game, this kind of idea of upgrading or modifying blocks so that they look different doesn't really matter anymore. So you can build pretty much everything out of steel or concrete, and you can make it look like wood. It makes the building process a lot easier. Okay, that's the prospector hut built. That's the mine shaft and ladder started. So now I'm going to be mining as much as I can. I'm going to be looking for a lot of stone. I'm going to be looking for iron, maybe a bit of sand, some base resources. This will help me get started with the concrete factory. This will help me get resources for any iron tools, bullets, you name it. So this is going to be crucial for me going forward.
A few moments later.
Okay, so that was 2 full days of mining. We gathered hundreds of thousands of rock and iron. We also built a big set of stairs and a little platform that we were using while mining. We added some supports just to make it look authentic. We did this on stream as well, so we had a few chats and jokes with viewers, so it didn't feel quite as long. Now that we're back at the hideout, you can see just how many resources we collected. It's quite the haul. We'll be putting it all to very good use. After we did some inventory management, we decided, do you know what? We're going to make the preacher outfit finally. We deserve it at this point. So we're going to put that on. Lovely. Let's have a look. Ah, fantastic. Look at that beautiful crucifix. Ave Christus Rex. At this point as well, now that we actually have some good resources, I decided it would be a good time to tool up and make some better tools. So as you saw there, we made the wrench. We're also making an iron fire axe. We're also going to make a claw hammer. And we're going to make one of our favourite weapons of the playthrough, the machete. You see, as weapons go, the machete cleaves meat from bone, removes heads from shoulders, and otherwise erases even the most pertinent of hordes. It's an essential tool for every zombie killer's arsenal.
Yeah, boy.
Now that we have the machete and the wrench, we're going to go out and break down some cars. Car dismantling finished and resources gathered, I decided to check out this little cabin in the woods before heading home. I think I may revisit this cabin in future. It has a pretty interesting setup that may be useful, maybe as a cool outpost or even a brief horde base. We'll have to see how we feel. Resources wise, this place had quite a lot of books. Definitely a lot of bookcases, a lot of piles of books. I was trying to gather as much cloth as I could as well. Machete holding its own once again. Absolutely fantastic weapon. As you can see, even more books, more cloth. I'm going to take those beds apart as well. Beds have a lot of springs, and they also have quite a bit of cloth in them. It's also important as well when you're looting different POIs to keep an eye out for different boxes that may be hidden in different places. As you can see here, there was actually a box hidden above the wardrobe. There was also some nice ammunition, and I even got a pair of scavenger gloves out of this little POI. So all in all, it was a useful little detour. We are going to clear up any last bits of loot, get rid of any stragglers, take apart that car as well. Then we're going to load our bike up, mark this place on our map, and we'll be on our way. Back at the hideout now, and it's time to do some quick inventory management. All of those nice resources we gathered out and about need a home, and we'll be doing our best to put them in their rightful place. It was also at this point that I decided it was about time to give ourselves an easy entrance and exit to the base. Instead of walking through the entire house every single time we want to leave, I thought, do you know what? It's time to do it. That's right. It's time to make a proper cellar door.
What's cellar door?
This famous linguist once said that of all the phrases in the English language, of all the endless combinations of words in all of history, that cellar door is the most beautiful.
It was at this point that I realised I would need some more resources for concrete and other building items. So it was back to the mines. My pickaxe, after all, just like children, yearns for the mines. So for now, it's back to the mines. After mining for a couple of in-game hours, I could hear something on the surface. It sounded mean and angry. It sounded like a horde. But not just any horde. It sounded like a swarm. You might be asking, hey Chief, what's the difference between a swarm and a horde? Well, I'm glad you asked. I use this. I call it the Zombie Horde Estimation Decal, or Z for short. Z helps me when identifying all types of undesirables. These range from the lonesome zombie to the more common pack, the deadlier horde, the frightening and less common swarm, the large and in charge mega horde, and the elusive but deadliest chain swarm. So when you need help identifying the size of your horde, use Z today. It's time to return to the surface to see what was getting all flustered with my mining. Now that we have released those poor souls from their decaying vessels, we can consider that swarm vanquished. I'll head back down the mine for a bit, then it's off to finish building that cellar door. Now we have the easy entrance finished, we can move on to prepping for the 14-day blood moon. Here we are on day 14. After the cellar door was created, I did a bit of inventory management and then gathered some more resources. I was also on stream when I started the Horde base improvements, which led to an interesting tweak in the game files. I'd placed quite a few mines around the house, but when they felt a bit weak compared to how I and chat had imagined them, there were some suggestions made from my wife and the live chat, and we made them significantly more powerful. I had to use something to mark out their locations around the house, otherwise the worst could happen. What's the standard procedure if you trod on a landmine, you may ask? Well, the usual idea is to leap about 100 feet into the air and then scatter yourself over a large area. We have some bowling pin markers for our minefield to keep us safe, so that has my mind at ease. Now I decided to conduct a small test just to see how lethal these mines are, even behind obstacles. We're just filling in the final piece of this mine test rig to see what we're dealing with. Here's my live stream reaction to go with the test results.
A second. Oh. Oh. I mean, that's certain death.
This was a little bit too much damage to be survivable, especially through walls and objects, so I opened up the game files again and made a small adjustment. So for now, it's back to fortifying the base. Okay, so we have improved our defences in the minefield, and I also made some modifications to the rest of the barricades, off camera. At this point I was feeling quite confident. We managed the last blood moon with relative ease, and this one was going to be no problem. Or so I thought. You see, what I had forgotten to take into account was that since day 7, I had done a very large amount of mining, which in turn bumped my level up significantly. This meant that the horde was going to be big and very out for blood. Remember when I said there was an issue with this airlock a while ago? Here's the issue. I can't build behind it, so I can't open the door with a hatch. Oh well, let's see how this plays out. Was that it? The sweet release of death? Am I free of this burdensome fallen world?
No, my son. You must continue to suffer until your soul is redeemed. Redemption, after all, will be your key to heaven.
If the Lord doth need me, then hell can wait.
That's enough lying in the dirt. We've been resurrected, for now, so let's not disappoint. Okay, just gonna mop up the last few surviving unclean. And there we have it. The 14-day horde has been defeated. We even got a chance to speak to the big man about life and our time here on Earth. It seems that we are destined to suffer further for our sins after all. There will be no easy escape for someone like me, but that is very welcome. As one Ron Weasley once said, you're gonna suffer, but you'll be happy about it. From here on, I collected the loot and did some inventory management. Nothing too interesting was found, apart from lots of books and the usual bits and bobs. The next big project we'll be tackling will be very important for our building process. We'll be repairing O'Malley Oats and turning it into our concrete factory. Once we have a steady flow of concrete, we really start moving onwards and upwards. You'll want to stay tuned for that in the next episode. But for now, that leaves us in that same old place where we have to part ways until next time. I hope you've enjoyed, but once again, I'll leave you with something relevant that I think you may find helpful. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. So glory in your suffering, friends. I'll see you next time. Welcome back to the Escape the Grind series. In the last episode, we built our mineshaft and collected some serious resources. We made our first weapon of mass destruction, the machete. We started to use Z, the zombie, horde, estimation decal, and we even spoke to God.
You must continue to suffer.
In this episode, we'll be making the concrete factory. We'll be building a new bike, and we encounter something even scarier than a chain swarm. So, get comfy, get yourself a nice mug of hot chockey, and enjoy. In the last episode, I noticed that whenever I head back to the hideout to bring resources or change equipment, I always use the phrase inventory management. So today, I'm going to make a concerted effort to use a different phrase every single time I need to do inventory management. So with that in mind, we begin today with some stockpile organization. We're doing some stockpile organization because we're going to build something pretty cool. You remember the bicycle and how good that's been to us? Well, get ready for our next innovation in locomotion, the mini bike. The mini bike turns a leisurely cycle into a hell for leather gallop. With a 50cc mini petrol engine that gives close to 100 miles per gallon, you can expect to travel far and wide on this little beauty. We had the right parts, and now we have the mini motor. We'll give it a quick test run, and then it's off to build ourselves a concrete factory.
Speed of this, huh? Miles better.
And there it is, O'Malley Oats. This is where we'll be setting up one of the most crucial builds in this world. It's in a bit of a shambles at the moment, but it has plenty of potential. There's some holes in the roof, and many burned out walls and smashed windows, but with a little elbow grease, it'll be good as new. Firstly, we need to evict the squatters that have set up shop here.
Right. Floor. Important to this. Just called unholy degenerate. I'll actually repair that. Oh. There's obviously some big fire in this place. Is this room open? Oh, it is.
Squatters deported to the great hereafter, we can now begin renovations.
I don't think we can repair these, can we? Oh, we can. That's better than nothing. Listen, Mary, you're not forklift certified. Get out of here. Looking much better. I don't like that bit though.
Now that we have all of the exterior blocks repaired or replaced, we can clear out the inside and add the beating heart of the concrete factory, which is the forges and the cement mixers.
What we're doing here is we're loading the forges.
At this point, I needed to stop over at the hideout to do some cash logistics before returning to finish off the final touches of the concrete factory. I went back to upgrading some of the wall blocks, and this took a while, so I'll skip that and I'll show you what Chief Concrete looks like now. As you can see, we've given Chief Concrete a new lease on life. Smooth blue paint job with concrete trim and white painted wood for the upstairs and the tower. A nice gold plated cross emblazons the front door. Inside we've repaired all the floor, all the ceiling and every single wall. We've replaced the green with cream. The main production floor is stone block and we've upgraded the forges. We have 8 of them now. 6 concrete mixers mix concrete and sand almost all the time. 3 workbenches make us concrete blocks at an unparalleled rate. The upstairs is vacant for now, but we cleared it up anyway. There's no more trash littering the floor, but we'll be upgrading that at a later date. So that's Chief Concrete as it stands. O'Malley Oates is a thing of the past. I want to prepare you for the next segment, as it doesn't quite look like how I want it to. You see, I lost my raw footage due to an unexpected corruption, and instead I have to use my stream VOD for the next few days of gameplay. Now this footage does have a Twitch overlay on top, but this doesn't last forever, so please do not be afraid. Things will go back to normal, but please bear with me until then. So until then, thank you. We start day 21 with a finished concrete factory and a new weapon. As you can see, I'm making a rather large amount of gunpowder, and this is for my newly created weapon. A very powerful assault rifle, the AK-47. The Avtomat Kalashnikova, or AK-47, is Mikhail Kalashnikov's answer to the German Sturmgewehr 44. It fires a whopping 600 rounds per minute and is chambered in 7.62mm, giving it staggering stopping power against the unholy. Its rugged reliability, matched with its usability, makes it a force to be reckoned with. It's a welcome asset to our holy arsenal. It's day 21 at this point, which means it's Horde night once again. So just to get ready, I'm doing some repertory systematizing, and then we'll head over to our future place of penitence to clear it out. Then we'll head over to the Horde base for more holy war against the unclean ones.
This is, as you can see, this is where I will be moving in. And the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Look at this place. This will make a fine home. First we gotta cleanse it of all of these unholy undead. Let's go upstairs. We're going up the bell towers now.
Since our last Blood Moon Horde night, I've made some modifications to our bunker. These include deeper punji pits, concrete bars on windows as well as concrete walls, iron spike traps all over the place, and a modified staircase airlock. All of this combined has made our little temporary Horde base a bit of a fortress. I also made sure to mark the spot where I had an important encounter with the Divine. Now please, I must prepare for what comes tonight. Excuse me.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
Here we go. It begins. Whoa! Loot delivery. Another werewolf. Good riddance. Oh, a massive thing. Look the size of that vulture. Climbing right up into the spike. Front door protected. Oh, there is still loads of them. Trying to take down my basketball hoop. What are you doing?
And that's all she wrote for night 21. The new fortifications made a huge difference, and we ended the night mostly unharmed. The next thing I did was start moving my loot to the hideout. I then did some stock structuring and moved on. However, something ominous was lurking right around the corner. I once thought that the raging hordes of Blood Moon Night were the scariest thing, but it turns out that something much more devastating was ready to pounce.
We didn't need to do a single bit of repairing during the night either, which was really nice. The house is a fortress. It is at this stage. Much better than the other night, wasn't it? The other night they tore through it like it was made of tinfoil. Decoration.
This message turned my blood cold. After some research on this error, I saw that it was caused by too many spawns in POIs not being cleared. This meant that Zeds were spawning, but not disappearing when I left the area. Multiply this by hours, and it meant that I desperately needed to clear all local POIs, or else I might see a serious error arise. I hopped straight on my bike and went to clear every nearby building I may have gotten close enough to spawn some sleepers inside. But even on my speedy little bike, I wasn't able to outrun the constant reminders of peril I was in. I needed to work fast, or else. We lost. We raced time, but in the end, time won. Day 22? Was that all we could manage? I tried to load back into the world, but the same looming error appeared. All that work and effort and suffering, all for naught? But then I remembered something. Something we were told by the Almighty.
You must continue to suffer until your soul is redeemed.
Then it all clicked. Everything had been taken from me. The hideout, my loot, the concrete factory, the fortress, everything. Gone. But nowhere does it say that I must lay down and die, so I won't, and I didn't. I stayed up for hours. I duplicated the world. I brought across what I could from one realm to another. Then I worked. I rebuilt all of it, late into the night. The hideout, remade. The concrete factory, renovated again. The fortress, refortified. My inventory, mostly replaced. We were back, and this time, to stay. We had quite the adventure this episode, didn't we? We built the mini bike, we created Chief Concrete, we survived Night 21, and we experienced a brutal error that made us rebuild it all. In the next episode, I'll be building the firearms workshop that will give us tons of gun parts and ammunitions, so stay tuned as you won't want to miss it. That, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the close of episode 5 of Escape the Grind. This means I'll have to leave you for now, but as always, I won't leave you without something useful for your travels. It's quite relevant to today's little adventure. And the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, after you have suffered a little while, will himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. So don't be afraid to suffer a little while, for you'll be restored, strong, firm, and steadfast. Until next time, goodbye, friends. Welcome back to the Escape the Grind series. In the last episode, we built the mini bike. The mini bike turns a leisurely cycle into a hell for leather gallop. We finally built Chief Concrete. We made the AK-47. And we encountered a dark corruption that made us rebuild it all. The hideout, remade. The concrete factory, renovated again. In this episode, we'll be making the gunsmith workshop, we'll be building another weapon of mass destruction, and we'll be fighting the 28-day horde. So sit back, get comfy, and enjoy. We start today off with the main build of the episode, the gunsmith workshop. This was one of my more anticipated builds, as it's the first build in the playthrough that I'll be fully creating completely from scratch. But first, we need to find where we're going to place it.
Gotta remove the head or destroy the brain. I think for the gunsmith, I think I'm going to build it here. Right beside the house.
Now that I've picked a place, I need to remove obstructions and clear the area. Now the area is cleared, I can begin by marking the layout of the build on the ground. We have the basic layout done, so it's time to replace the building blocks with our crafted concrete blocks. As you can see, the concrete factory is already being put to good use. We have the basic ground floor layout and walls done, and now it's time to move on to the roofs and the second floor. Now I'm working on the big roof for the main building of the gunsmith. Creating a good looking roof from scratch can be quite difficult, and this one was no exception. It took me quite some time as I wanted a more fantasy styled slope. This meant that I had to use a few different styles of ramps and slopes. Something I found quite helpful when I was stuck searching for the right shape was to look at nearby structures. That way, if I found the right shape, I could just copy the shape with the radial menu.
What the? Looks like we're going to war, boys. What?
Another important detail with roofing is to make sure you add an overhang, both on the front and rear as well as the sides. If you forget to add this, it can make the roof look quite unusual, unless that's the look you're going for. I do add a bigger overhang on the sides before this build is finished, as well as a very cool little detail to the top of the gable. The idea behind my factories or workshops in this game is to mass produce resources at a higher rate than you might normally see. The gunsmith workshop is no exception. 4 forges will allow me to smelt and produce huge amounts of bullet tips, casings, pellets, and even weapon parts as I've modded them in. In my older playthroughs with friends, we'd normally have 1 or 2 forges in our base, only to add one when resource production became bottlenecked. This would end up with us having loads of forges in the base, and all with different purposes. This is why I've started to make defined locations where specific resources are mass produced. Now for a really nice touch, I add a chimney. Unfortunately, campfires don't give off a lot of smoke, and you can't build the trader chimneys, so I opted to use the developer menu to give myself a smoking chimney pot. I am considering adding it to the crafting recipes via mods to avoid having to use the dev menu in future for things like this, or for other things like mannequins, for instance.
What on earth? Got a bird horde. Roaming vultures, huh? Never seen this before.
Now it's time to build the compound wall to add some security, but first I need to clear the surrounding area of the unclean ones.
Screamers.
Unclean ones redeemed, and now it's time to clear all possible obstructions to the wall. Obstructions cleared out of our way, and now we can begin placing the first row of blocks. First row has been started, and we have the drawbridge placed. Now the drawbridge is a good starter entrance door for vehicles and all that kind of stuff, but we will be upgrading this in future when we start to connect power up to our settlement. For now though, this will do just fine. Okay, the first line of defense is now up. Now all I'm going to do is add the second layer of wall with all the details on it, and then I'll be adding the iron spikes. Here's another little tip that I find useful when building. Make a palette of shapes that you want to use out of construction blocks, and then you can copy the shape you want with ease, instead of searching through pages and pages until you find what you want. That is going to be my general shape. I'll be repeating this shape the whole way round and adding some lookout points along the wall as well. Here I'm adding the pit underneath the drawbridge for gate security. This is a useful way to add another layer of defense to your front entrance. I also added iron spikes all around the exterior wall. Iron spikes in the base game are a little too weak for my liking, so I've modified them to be a lot more resistant to damage. I've always thought that the iron spikes were far too fragile for what they are. In the Escape the Grind universe though, they're actually a fairly decent defense, so I use them quite often. Here's one of the several lookout towers that are on the exterior wall. They're quite basic, but they do the job. After several days of building, painting, and decorating, here it is. The Falcon Forge. The Falcon Forge has 4 forges that smelt bullet tips, casings, pellets, and a plethora of weapon parts as well. 8 workbenches are used to mass-produce gunpowder and munitions. Upstairs is the storeroom. All of our manufactured weapons, bullets, and armors that aren't in use are stored here, safe and sound. Out back, I added a shooting range with a shelter and multiple targets. Here, you can send some rounds down range to get some needed practice. After all, practice makes perfect. The exterior wall offers decent protection with multiple blocks in thickness in most areas and spikes all around. In front of Falcon Forge, I added a freshwater well and a covered campfire. Additional wooden trim has been added to the building on all sides to give it a more rustic feel. All of these features added together has given Falcon Forge a serious ability to produce munitions, as well as a nice dose of character. It's a very welcome build in our little settlement. Alright, now we have Falcon Forge up and running, we just need to wait for the forges to heat up a little bit. Before that though, I did actually have some forged steel already cooking in the hideout. You see, we're coming up on the day 28 horde. Now the AK, it did us well last time, but this time I was looking for something with a little bit more kick. So, say hello to my little friend, the M60. Here we are on day 28, Horde Night once again. We're just restocking the fortress of all of its mines. I put most of them back after the corruption, but I built some more just to be double safe. Then we're going to do a once over of the building to make sure that everything is in good nick, and that we don't have any vulnerabilities that I might have left out. So let's get into it. Mines placed and bowling pin indicators also in place I can finally get on to looking over the rest of the build.
We're gonna have a good time tonight. This machine gun is gonna... I have a feeling it's gonna rip some people to shreds. Everything looks like it's in good nick. I don't think there's much damage. I think I must have done a fairly decent job of repairing everything. That was something I was kind of considering as well, is that this...
While I was repairing and upgrading some of the roof, one of my chatters had a fantastic idea.
Build a crow's nest for the machine gun. Oh, excellent idea. What do you think of that, huh?
Alright, the machine gun nest has been completed, so I have somewhere to retreat to if all hell breaks loose. Although, with Mr. Rooster on our side, I don't think we're going to have much trouble. With no other goals or tasks in mind until the horde starts, I think I'll sit and meditate about the reality of living in a post-Judgment Day world.
Behold, he is coming amid the clouds. Every eye will see him, even those who pierced him. All the peoples of the earth will lament him. Yes, amen. To the victor who keeps to my ways until the end, I will give authority over the nations. He will rule them with an iron rod. Like clay vessels will they be smashed. Just as I received authority from my father, and to him I will give the morning star.
Meditation over, it was time to begin another night of bloodthirst and battle against the unclean ones.
Here we go. Thank God, protect me. I'm gonna get guns light. Seeing a lot of these radiated freaks. Come on, light them up. This gun shoots limbs off. Oh, we've got a demolisher, I think, out there. to get inside. Watch out, seizure warning for anyone with epilepsy. Oh, this gun actually minces him. Let's try the Kalashnikov with high power rounds, shall we? Oh, we got him. Get the normal rounds in. Or heat you up. Demolishes are nasty, aren't they? Oh, look at this. The level 6 machete ripping them to shreds. We're going to have to do a damage check soon. Let's try just headshots. So hard not to just go full auto with this. Shooting limbs off left, right and centre. This gun is a beast. Gotcha. Oh, we need to repair it. And we're in. How did he get in? How did he get in? Oh my goodness. I don't know how he got in. Gotta keep an eye on that though. I know what we're gonna do. Loot bags outside. fly through the front door there. Still got a few hours to go. Let's drop a few pipe bombs outside. Now let's throw one out there. Hogwarts Leicester, yeah. No post on Sundays. Look at him blowing up, huh? Got some birds, man. Birds out here, huh? And just a casual little doe waiting there. I think we did it.
And that was all she wrote for the Day 28 Horde. Deus Vult. My new M60, the Rooster, made mincemeat of the unclean ones. And we got some cool pipe bomb and landmine kills in there as well. From this point on, I rummaged through the finally dead's loot bags and brought all of the goods back home to the hideout. I think we can call it here for episode 6. We got a lot done in this episode. We built the Falcon Forge, we built and showcased the Rooster, and we survived the Day 28 Horde. In the next episode, I'll be building the iron and steel factory that will give us tons of useful metal for building and crafting. So keep your eyes open for that, as you won't want to miss it. That, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the close of episode 6 of Escape the Grind. This means we'll be parting ways for a short time, but as always, I'll leave you with some words to think about until next time. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. So the next time you feel like you're being trialed or tested, try and persevere. You might find that you'll be rewarded for your time. And with that, until next time, goodbye, friends. Welcome back to the Escape the Grind series. In the last episode, I finished building the Falcon Forge. We built our new weapon of mass destruction, the Rooster. And we fought the 28-day Horde. In this episode, I'll be making a 19th century style factory for steel and iron production.
We should probably get the forges up and running in here soon.
I play darts with zombies.
Come here, you. Yes.
And I get absolutely mogged by juiced up biker Zeds.
Oh god, there are radiators.
So if that sounds interesting to you, get a nice cup of goldenrod tea, butter up a slice of cornbread, sit back and enjoy. Today, we're going to build the iron and steel production factory. This is going to make forged iron and steel, as well as other things like mechanical parts. These are really important when adding iron spikes to builds, or when I finally add turrets, lights and generators to the settlement. Now, I already have the concrete ready to go, and I've picked a good location. I settled with this open lot just down the road from the hideout. It's a nice open space that'll allow me total freedom with the design. It should also be far enough away that the heat created by the furnaces shouldn't bring too many screamers down on the hideout. When I was building Falcon Forge, I got interrupted multiple times by wandering undead. When I was engaged in the act of creation, the undead just couldn't help but disturb me and try to destroy some life. This time, I won't be letting them disturb and perturb me as easily. It was time to change my build strategy. I needed to build a wall.
On the floor, got the blueprints tight. Zombies at the gates, we fortify tonight. Concrete dreams in the floodlight glow. Still beam stacked high, no undead getting close. Factory boss keeps the motors on grind. No slack from the pack, they can't cross that line. Frost patrol rolling out, keep them all on ice. Order control flow, cold cut, precise. Stacking walls like beats, brick by rhyme. Turn the clock of threat into overtime. When the bolts got moaning, I just tighten my glove. This is industry survival with a militant shove.
Alright, that's enough of that. I have the border wall completed and it only cost a few hundred blocks of concrete. Not bad for a bit of peace of mind. Now I can start building my factory in peace. This build did take some time, but it begins the same way most of my builds do, with a ground layout. Now I have the max outer size laid out, I can move on to adding the real floor. I also wanted to tell you that the next segments have the Twitch chat actions enabled. This means that my chatters were able to vote to make my game a little bit more wacky. So, bear in mind that the next bits may be a bit schizophrenic to say the least. Enjoy. Here I'm laying out the ground floor, sort of base layout of how the building's actually going to look, how wide it's going to be and all that. I also decided that I wanted the factory to be raised, so there'd be a ground floor around, so I'm actually adding a second layer of blocks. Everything was going quite well, and then this vote came up. I thought that a boss would be a piece of cake, given my affiliation with the Machete and Mr. Rooster. However, I may have slightly underestimated the power of Twitch boss votes. Alrighty, before we get into the next segment, I just wanted to thank you for watching today's adventure so far. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I enjoyed making it. Even though I'm only a new guy on the YouTube scene, I'm trying to help the YouTube algorithm find my audience. So if you want to help me become a totally insufferable full-time YouTuber, then like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. Share it with your friends if you fancy it too. Cheers. Now let's get back to it. The vote had been completed. The people had chosen. I'd be facing off against a biker horde imbued with shock powers. I'd never faced one of these before, but that's enough dilly-dallying. Let's give the people what they want.
Oh god, they're radiators. Oh.
Well, that didn't go as expected. Some of my live viewers were quite sorrowful, as you can imagine. Now, I never thought that they would be as strong as the Hulk and more deadly than the Plague, but here we are. If I ever see them juiced up bikers again, I assure you, I will have my revenge. Anyway, after that slightly humiliating setback, I decided to take on a POI. Taylor Manor to be exact. Now, I remember gazing upon this place in episode 1.
Nice.
I said I'd check it out another day, and that day is today. This POI was well out of my reach on day 1 when I first spotted it, but we're well overqualified for this place now. I'll do my best to tear this place up, but as you might have spotted, the effects of prolonged loneliness are in full effect. Buckets on heads are a known symptom of extended solitary confinement from society. And before you say it, Trader Rex doesn't count.
Oh. Who's having some kind of schizophrenic breakdown.
With Taylor Manor cleansed, I stopped by Rect's to sell a thing or two. Then it was back to building.
I've enabled every single spawn, so you can spawn pretty much anywhere. And now it's nighttime, so any zombies you spawn will be nightmarishly quick.
I thought my viewers would be harsh and spawn some unclean ones for me to fight at night, but instead, in their benevolence, they gifted me this.
I need my reference. Some reference images. Jump. Oh my god. Look at that.
Jumping around like a superhero put me in the mood to cleanse another POI.
Oh,
this time it was the Ripon residence. Don't worry, I'll make it quick.
Zombie world. PP is I can do that in my own chat.
When I got back to building, I decided to fill out the ground floor on the outskirts of the factory. I also decided to test out the voice I was going to use for the Horde Every Night stream that I had planned.
Oh, scheiße. Oh, is there a chance for some rotten meat there? Come on.
I had the outer ground floor finished, so I could move on. A few more weird events happened, like confetti zombies.
Watch what happens when I kill this one.
And then drunken undead with big heads. But other than that, not much building was done before sunrise. An attack vote appeared, and I hadn't seen one of these before, so I made sure my gun was fully loaded this time.
Not taking any chances this time. You got him.
Well done.
We got you this time. We actually ended up standing almost in the exact same place as where we died as well, isn't that? Isn't that weird?
After some messing about with some menus and settings, I decided to get back to the factory. And this time, nothing would disturb me. Or would it?
And run, Derby. Melee hit. Zombies into balloons. Hey, excellent. Come here, you. Yes. Oh, what a shot. I do the wrench. The wrench seems to be more filling. Oh. Gotcha. Ah, 43 points. What did we get? We got Batter Up. Metal chain mod. Don't have enough knockdown power? Learn to craft a metal chain modification. I believe take that. Power attacks increase the chance of knocking down your enemy. I'll take that too. Athletic shoes, we don't need those. 3,000 coins, a Mega Crush, and a baseball bat for our troubles. That is brilliant.
While editing some spawn values and checking into the menus further, this came up.
Boss votes. Okay. I wouldn't be too bothered if you voted in them bikers again, so that I could actually win against them this time.
The vote had been cast. It was the shock bikers again. This was my chance to redeem myself against my nemesis. Let's get it on.
Extremely tough. A headshot only damage or something. My gun actually broke. You gone, lawyer. Oh, we won. This time we win. 2,500 coins. 3 silver nuggets, 4 diamonds, 5 gold nuggets, magnum rounds, because we got loads of good stuff. Excellent.
I had defeated the pack of electroshock irradiated bikers and went back to building for a short while. That was before I logged off. The next stream I did was the Horde Every Night stream, and that lasted from day 33 to day 37. It was a bloodbath. But that's a story for another video. I will, however, bring you forward in time to when I continue building the factory, and also I'll show you the build for gravesite number 2. For gravesite 2, I wanted to give it a more gothic tomb look. So I started with the floor, and then I added the crypt. Once the crypt was in place, I had a much better idea of where everything needed to go, and how big walls or the roof needed to be. Once the basics were in place, I went into the detail portion of the build by adding balusters, pillars, framing spires, and railings along the rooftop. I decided to add some more depth to the sides by building a sloped ledge from the roof railings down to a set of arched windows, and then another ledge from those windows to the ground. Now, painting, it took me some time just to get the right mix of colour and contrast, but the end design really came together well. After a lot of back and forth painting and a lot of groundskeeping, here is the finished tomb. This build is small, but it paints a big picture. This is a resting place, and it shows. One of my favourite features is the hanging ivy on the sides of the roof, making it look old and at home. The added oak tree and pine also give it a cosy feel. When night comes, this build really looks the part. The added shadows and flickering lights brings that needed ambience and peace that the eternally at rest deserve. Around the fence, I added a hedge and then added some flowers to make it look like a rose bush that borders the entire garden. The gardens are well kept and the grass is allowed to grow for wildlife and insects. Planters have azaleas, and we've added some cotton plants and goldenrod for good measure. Although this is just a marker for my previous failing, I'm glad it exists. Okay, back to the main build of the video, the factory. I'll get through this a bit quicker as we've had quite a few diversions already. Alright, so I started back on the build with the flooring, and then the walls and large Victorian style windows. These will help give the build its chic industrial revolution look. Once the downstairs windows were built, I moved on to the second story, adding the roof, and then a spiral staircase with its accompanying banisters for good measure. Then it was out to the front briefly so I could add some trim to the front door before heading back up to add the remaining walls and windows upstairs. After the walls and windows were in place upstairs, it was time to add the roof. I went with a mixture of different ledges and chamfered blocks to add some trim and detail. Then it was finally filled in with wooden blocks to save on concrete and to mix things up a little bit, before I finally finished the roof off with a nice wrought iron guardrail around the top to give it that finishing look. After the roof was done, I decided to add some more ledges and trim work around the building to replicate a building of that era. Then it was time to start painting. A lot of my time painting was spent going back and forth between different styles, but I eventually settled for a nice rich brick colour. Then it was time to add some industrial chimneys. These would be lit once the factory is alive, showing that the lifeblood of the factory is pumping away. I then added some bars to all the ground floor windows before starting to move in the smelting equipment and workbenches. Now, after a few finishing touches, the build is complete. Here it is, Peacemaker Iron and Steel Works. You can tell the design is straight from the Industrial Revolution, with its 4 mighty chimneys billowing coal smoke into the air 24/7. Ah, I love the smell of industry in the morning. I made sure to add large windows to let in as much natural light as I could get, as we have no electric lighting. Outside the factory is a litany of different pieces of equipment and resources stacked around for later use. On the inside, it was good practice to add metal trussing and iron girders to strengthen the core of the build. I have multiple work tool carts, boxes of resources, winch hooks, sacks of coal and ore, all necessary to keep this beast of production in a good mood. The heart of the steelworks are the furnaces. There are 3 main forges on each side that are accessible through the hatches on the front. They lead up to the chimneys above. Upstairs I have my glorious office. With ornate tiling leading up to a grand desk, you know you're in the presence of a powerful man of industry. I chose the brick walls to keep in touch with the essence of tough work that happens below. The rounded window allows me to keep an eye on the world outside as the factory heart beats furiously below. At night, the steelworks attains a welcoming and warm glow. This comes from a mixture of natural torches and the molten metal brewing within. This factory can make thousands of forged iron and steel every day. The only thing that holds it back is the one-man supply of raw ingredients that its boiling forges crave day in and day out. This build took me quite some time, but I'm sure you'll agree that it was in fact time well spent. Alright, here I am mining as much as possible to keep those very hungry forges running at full pelt. This is where the escape the grind part really comes into practice. With my fully upgraded mining skill and iron pickaxe, you can see just how quick I tear through rock and iron in the mines. Now, the Peacemaker Iron and Steelworks is finished, so I can check that off my checklist. When I showed my wife how it looked, she immediately said it looked like somewhere familiar. But believe me, that wasn't intentional. As with all my builds, I make sure to emblazon it with a big gold cross, as I think that's necessary. Now, that about wraps it up for this installment. I really hope you enjoyed this episode and all that came with it. Let me know in the comments what you think of the 2 builds that were completed, and if you've ever made anything similar. In the next episode, we have a very, very big milestone. The cathedral will be renovated and we'll be experiencing the Horde every night chaos that I talked about earlier in this video. So subscribe if you want to see that. As always, I'll finish the episode with a bit of age-old wisdom that was relevant to this adventure. For every house is built by someone, but God is the builder of everything. So the next time you build anything, just have a think about the materials and maybe who built them for you. Until we see each other again, goodbye and God bless, friends. Welcome back to the Escape the Grind series. In the last episode, we witnessed some chaotic events when the live viewers got involved with the stream. I built a tomb for my second grave site. This build is small, but it paints a big picture. This is a resting place. And I finished the steelworks build. Ah, I love the smell of industry in the morning. In this episode, I'll be fighting an onslaught of unclean ones when I go through several horde nights in a row. I create a lumberyard around the mineshaft. And I finally finish rebuilding the church. So if that sounds interesting to you, get a nice cup of coffee, get yourself a slice of pumpkin pie, sit back and enjoy. Alright, today's video is a big milestone. Church will finally be restored, but before I show you that, I have a few other objectives to get through first. Firstly, I have to survive this little onslaught of back-to-back horde nights. I'll be building the lumberyard and reinforcing the old mineshaft. Then I can finally finish the church. For now, it's time to get ready for battle. I'll be fighting the horde in this World War I and II style arena. It has a bit of trench warfare and some machine gun nests that I'll be using. Thankfully, I have my bullet farm in full swing, as I'll be going through a lot of rounds. So, without further ado, let the carnage begin. Okay, night 1 has been obliterated. A lot of unclean ones were released from their rotting coils, and their souls have been sent to the great hereafter. Amen. After the majority of the chain swarms of Blood Moon were defeated, I finished the night with about 370 rounds in the M60. I started with a whopping 2,816, meaning we burned nearly 2,500 rounds just for one night. Now, that's not bad, but that does mean that the bullet farm will need to be in full swing to keep us in the green going forward. As you can see here in the Falcon Forge, I've made thousands of gunpowder, bullet casings, and bullet tips. I decided to switch things up a little bit and make some high-power 7.62mm for the next 2 nights, just to really send a message. Now, when using a bullet farm or any kind of factory build, it's always best practice to spread the resources you're building out among multiple workbenches or forges. That way, it works more efficiently, as you can see here. After just one trip to Falcon Forge, I've topped up my ammo to over 3,300 rounds. We're ready for night 2. But before we begin the carnage, I just wanted to say thank you all for watching this episode so far. I really hope you're enjoying it. I also wanted to say a massive thank you to anyone who watched and subscribed to me after my last adventure. I received a really fantastic response from my last video where I went from 23 subscribers to 39 in just a single week. And I have to say that was absolutely amazing to see, so thank you for that. Now, I really hope my videos are enjoyable and entertaining for you, so if you want to help me continue, like the video and subscribe for more. God bless you. Now, let's get back to it, shall we? That's all she wrote for the onslaught this time round. Day 33, 4, 5, and 6 were all Blood Moon hordes, and every single one of them was survived no problemo. Deus Vult, brothers. We can check that off our list of tasks. Now it's on to building the lumberyard, but before I get to that, I did reward myself to a little surprise for surviving such glorious carnage in the name of all that's holy. The bicycle was the start, the mini bike was its older brother. And now we welcome the hard-as-nails patriarch, the Iron Steed. that you've become acquainted with the Iron Steed, I can get to quickly making the lumberyard for future wood harvesting. I chose a location close to home to make it easier for transporting resources. It's also right on top of the mineshaft. Now, I started the whole process off with some wood felling, just to get a decent amount of wood for the wall. Then I can also use the collected seeds for further increasing the lumberyard wood reserve. And we're not going to stick too long with this build, as it was only a quick one, but it's quite a useful build, so I'll show it to you nonetheless. Once I'd collected enough wood, as well as seeds, I got to work making a boundary wall out of lumber. Then I filled the area with as many tree seedlings as possible to give myself a lush forest for later harvesting. Then it was time to build an area for wood cutting and processing. I built this little wooden storage shed which is connected to the mineshaft entrance. This is where finished planks are stored. And I decided to add some more structures with different roof heights to give it a little bit more definition. Now, after all my hours of building and playing this game, I only now discovered that you could cycle backwards through shape orientation with the R button as opposed to right click. Now, I would feel ashamed, but I was too happy with this discovery to care how long it took me to discover it. Then I moved on to building this quaint little sawmill area with accompanying logs and planks, as well as a plank sawing mill with hoist. I extended the roof to cover such a large lumber mill bed. Then I added some metal tread plate design, as well as some wooden paint for the bottom legs. Once I added the log on the mill, as well as a partially sawn log, I think it was pretty much finished. Now you can see the boundary wall, and you can see the full size of the lumberyard as well as how many trees have actually grown. The lumberyard itself is quite vast, with a gigantic boundary wall, including this little area where I dug out some clay. I also added some nice ramps to help get the Iron Steed in and out. Here's the finished sawmill area. It's quaint, but it gets the job done. Now I made sure to add all the necessary elements, like a sawhorse and stashes of large logs, as well as a small shed for storing the created planks, as I mentioned earlier. Now the old lanterns as well really give this build a more outdoorsy feel. It's quite rugged, but I think it's perfect. Alright, we're really powering through objectives at the moment, and yet we still have the biggest part to get to. Now next I'm going to check off the lumberyard on my task list, and then I'm going to move on to upgrading the old mineshaft. This will be another quick objective before I move on to the grand and mighty church restoration. I won't keep you waiting any longer, let's get to it, shall we? So when building mineshafts, I like to make them look a little bit more real and add a bit of support by shoring them up with wooden supports. You can also add old lanterns to make them look a little bit more authentic to how older style mines would have looked. Now after several hours of being a fairly responsible prospector, here's what I came up with. It's nothing too crazy, but I like how it came out. I added multiple supports and staircases, as well as wooden flooring in more precarious areas. I added another mini bike and even a little rail line to help transport myself as well as valuable cargo back and forth through the longer mineshaft. I added quite a few lanterns as well that add some needed light to the darkness. Up above ground, I also added a small and old school style crane system. I imagine that my character uses this for hauling heavier loads of resources out the top of the mine, instead of breaking his back up that ladder. Now the mine is still expanding, as I always need resources, so this is likely to grow to something even larger over time, but for now, this'll do. Right, so that's 3 out of 4 tasks so far. We can check reinforcing the mineshaft off the list. You can probably see in the background here that I also made this funky little barbecue fire pit. I thought it was interesting enough to share. Thanks Cucumber Cat for the design idea. Check out their channel if you haven't already. Now around this time, I went to the snow biome to see if I could find Trader Hugh, and while I was exploring, I happened to find a rather strange POI that I just had to check out. It was the McPherson UFO Museum. This was also where my nighttime quest of restoring the power was too. So let's check it out. So, after checking out this place with me, what do you think? Are aliens among us? That zombified Marlene certainly seemed to have been abducted and was spat out. Or perhaps she was just looking for a hiding place when the outbreak happened, and she'd been sitting there the whole time in that spaceship until we arrived. We'll never know, I'm afraid. I did complete the quest without issue. The generators were turned back on, so I headed home with some nice loot and a close encounter of the third kind in my journal. Now, if you've been paying attention to the day counter on the top of the screen, you may be thinking, why is it day 44 again? That was ages ago. And you'd be right, that was ages ago. You see, I've got to bring you back in time to show you what you've been waiting for. The thing I've been talking about since episode 1, when I first laid my eyes on it. The resurrection of the church. You see, I started this project some time ago, but I want to show it to you all in one go so you can appreciate it fully. So, let it begin. Here is the refurbishment and resurrection of the church. In order to restore such a large building, I need some respite from the chaos of the unclean ones. So I start this build off with a boundary wall to protect yours truly. Before I build the wall, however, I needed to remove some of these pavement slabs so I could build right next to the road. Now that the pavement slabs have been cleared, I can begin constructing my concrete shielding. The wall is only a single block thick for the meantime, but once I've finished the resto, I'll upgrade this wall to something far more imposing and appropriate. Once I had the wall finished, it was time to clear out and clear up some of the rubbish within the palisade. Cleanliness is next to godliness, after all.
Swings, we'll probably keep those, even though they're pretty unnerving. Thinking of all the kids that would have swung on them in the past, but no longer.
During or after the apocalypse, some major event hit this bastion of religious sanctuary and left it devastated, with a crumbling roof and failing walls. Ever since then, it has been dormant, sitting, lying in wait until its moment to shine will once again arise. Before I get started on rebuilding what was once lost, it is pertinent that I remove the remains of scree and debris that litter the church floor.
No. I had a concrete block on one corner. Oh, I really wish that lion head didn't go bust. I would have loved to have seen a Fable 2 remaster. Would have been very nice. Are we getting that? Nice.
The next step is definitely the hardest. Several of the walls, the floor, the roof, pillars, arches, and multiple windows, as well as countless trims, have been destroyed. I will need to replace them with due diligence and care to make sure that they have been replaced and put into their rightful position. This is also where I finally worked out my favourite method for scaffolding for larger builds. I use wooden frames mixed with ladders to create a network of passages and catwalks that are essential for building high up and from within.
Let's keep it simple. I think it could be wrong. I think this is starting to look the part now.
This next step speaks for itself. Every single block that I have spent hours placing now needs to be painted. And paint I shall. There we have it, my brothers and sisters. The church has been resurrected in full, and how fitting that I show you this first during the week of Easter. Ave Christus Rex. Before I move in, I need to christen this place. I will do so with a holy candle made from the fat of an animal of the land. I will place it on the center of the altar, and I will offer a short blessing as well as give the church its name. The Lord speaks the language of the heart, so I'll do my best to speak from it also. Father in heaven, bless this your house, that I may worship you with all my heart. I christen this house of God as the Church of the Holy Resurrection of Jesus Christ. Amen. I will now light a candle of the flesh to seal this covenant. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being along for the journey. And what a journey it was this episode. In the next episode, I'll be building a gasoline farm, as well as rigging up some electricity, so keep your eyes open for that one. Now unfortunately, that does mean it's time for us to part ways. For now, anyway. So I'll leave you with some scripture to think about. Sing the praises of the Lord, you his faithful people. Praise his holy name, for his anger lasts only a moment, but his favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. And rejoice we shall. See you next time, friends. Welcome back to the Escape the Grind series. In the last episode, I survived a chaotic Horde Every Night event. I introduced our new bike, the Iron Steed. And I finally finished bringing the church back to life. In this episode, I'll be saying my final goodbyes to the hideout. I'll be building an oil drilling rig. And I build a giant farm and accompanying farmhouse for food production. So if that sounds interesting to you, get a nice cup of red tea, get yourself a warm slice of blueberry pie, sit back and enjoy. Alrighty, thanks for deciding to join me on today's adventure. Let me show you my objectives real quick. First, we're going to move all my stuff out of the hideout. Then it's off to the desert to make an oil drilling rig for glorious gasoline. And I need to get a move on and get some better food production going with a farmhouse build. Alright, now you can keep track of the tasks. Let's get a move on. All my stuff has now been moved over. This means that our trusty old hideout is no longer crucial to our survival anymore. I remember all the way back on day 2 when I first cleared this place and set it up. It treated us well and provided shelter when we needed it most, like back on night 4 when I tried to venture out at night and got seriously humbled, but we were saved by this little residence. This is where most of my streams began and ended, but now our time together is at an end. I'll miss this place, but it's on to bigger and better things. Now that I've moved out, I can check it off the list and get on to farming some glorious guzzolene. Now, I need to head out to the desert to get this started, but before I do that, I want to give you a bit of info on what a nodding donkey is. A pump jack is also known as a nodding donkey, among other things, and it's a common device used in the oil industry to extract crude oil from underground wells. It consists of a large long beam, also known as a walking beam, connected to a fulcrum or pivot point. The beam is powered by a motor, typically an electric or combustion engine, which generates the necessary mechanical energy to move the beam up and down. The beam is connected to a metal box known as a horse head. This connects to the bridle, which operates the pump. Now, my nodding donkey won't be moving due to limitations, but we can imagine that it works as intended to pull oil from the crust. I made this map for my world and drew up some icons for my builds and traders, and I'll be using this going forward. I think it really looks the part. So, I need to head up north to the desert and set a location for our brand new pump jack. Here we are. We've entered the desert, picked a nice spot, and there's the iridescent gold we're after. I think we'll be building our brand new pump jack right on this spot. Let's begin.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And here it is, Guzzolene Springs. The nodding donkey talks the talk, and the chemistry stations inside walk the walk. The exterior wall has been reinforced with iron spikes, as well as rolls of barbed wire. Nobody's getting in without my permission. Inside we have my only employee, Veronica. Say hello, Veronica.
Hi, darling.
Boy, is she a pip. To the right is where I have my locker room, which is where I keep my mining outfit. Further down the corridor we have the showers, toilet and sink. In the back I have 4 chemistry stations that make guzzolene and oil in abundance. This door leads us right back to Veronica. Down the ladder here is where I do all the mining of that beautiful, beautiful oil shale. As you can see, we have a huge amount dug out already, but this is just the beginning. Guzzolene Springs is now open for business, and boy is business good. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thank you for tuning in and thanks for sticking around so far. I hope you're enjoying this installment of Escape the Grind as much as I enjoyed making it. Also, I wanted to give you another pretty cool update. The last episode I made got some amazing feedback, with the video reaching 1,000 views in just 4 days. And 74 of you have subscribed already. This is just fantastic, and it's extremely uplifting. If you want to help me keep going this way, then like the video and subscribe for more. Thanks again, and God bless you. Now, let's get back to it, shall we? Excellent, another job well done. I can check that one off my list now and sit a bit more comfy with the knowledge that I have a lot of fuel incoming. Now, while building, I did realise it was Horde night once again. So this time I decided, you know what? I'm going to take them on in the desert, in the mountains, on my own. No shelter, no base, nothing. See how it goes, shall we? Well, that was dealt with quite nicely. No serious injuries, and we got the chance to use more of our arsenal, which was quite nice. I'll add this to the objectives list as a nice little bonus too. Now, before I move on to the farm, I did decide to build myself a little notice board for jobs that I intend to do in the future. I built it in the church, because that's where the hub is from now on, and here's how it turned out. It's only a small build, but it'll be very useful for me going forward. Now it's time to add the actual notices themselves and objectives. So I've got build church wall, build chassis shells galore, or build lots of chassis shells even, add turrets to town, build farm for food, and build garage. I decided to have a little drink to prepare myself for building the food station and the forge for inside the church hub. I had a build already done, but I didn't like the look of it. It was very out of place, so I decided to change it for something a little bit more gothic. I think that looks the part. And now for the forge. I did something similar, but just a tad different. This one's a little bit more compact, but all in all it has the same kind of architecture to it. I think that looks good. Right, now that we've finished doing a bit of upkeep inside, let's move on to the farm. Back to the map. Now we have the gasoline farm built, I can add my marker. There we go. And now to show you where my farm will go. A long time ago I decided that this open space next to the concrete factory would be perfect. It's not too far from the church hub, so it'll be easy to transport any food or drink to and from the farm. Building the farmhouse itself isn't going to be the biggest job, but building the farm plots is going to take a long time. So let's dig in, shall we? As we're out in the middle of nowhere, it's not too essential to build a wall this time, so instead I'll start with the foundation and add a bit of a crawl space under the house. That'll come in handy later, don't worry. I also added some blocks with vents at the front for a bit of airflow under the house. I want to make sure that the house is structurally sound and strong, so I'll add some concrete foundation underneath the center of the flooring as well as the sides. I like the idea of this farmhouse being somewhat simple with good natural lighting. As that's the idea, I'll have some good-sized windows on all sides if possible. Also, something important to remember when building is that you will need to make the ceiling higher than you think. This is to allow a gap above the windows so they don't lead straight into the ceiling, as that looks a bit unnatural. This house will have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 ensuite. I'll also give this house a nice center gable front to help lighting by adding a large window to the second story. This makes the roof a little bit more complex, but we'll be able to handle that. There'll also be a small attic. That's where we're going to store our power grid setup and battery banks. I know I've got a huge fuel setup running now, but instead of having a petrol generator, this house is going to have solar. I was originally going to make this a wooden house, but I decided after consideration that maybe some brickwork would look a bit better. I'm also going to be building a porch around the entire build. Okay, now that I have the porch done, I'm just going to show you 1 or 2 things inside, like the fireplace and the crown molding, and then I'll leave the inside to the reveal later. Alright, the next job I need to get moving on is the farmyard fence. This will let me know the full size of my land and how many farm plots I'll need to get into the ground. It's a pretty cool fence, I like it. It's gigantic. That's my farm. Oh, back-breaking work doing this fence. I don't even think I'll get it finished before I have to go to work today. I have another 6 minutes. Look at how much more I have to do, and then that's it. Oh, there we go. The fence has been finished. Well, the fence has been placed. It still needs to be painted, and I am out of paint. I wonder how much paint I have.
There we go. Started painting. You missed it. I forgot to press record because I'm rushing to get out the door for work. I just painted and used 3,500 paint in about 10 clicks. So far, we're getting there. We're getting there. Right. Gotta go to work and then back to it. Okay, we're back at it again. I'm back from work. And we're back building.
The first thing I'm building today is a water harvesting deck. I need as much water as I can get in order to make teas, juices, and paints. So in order to do that, I'm going to need several, if not more, water harvesters. Now that I have the water harvesting setup created, I can move on to the driveway that will lead through the middle of the farm. There's the driveway, and now it's time to frame the driveway and farm plots with these wooden walkways. The more player-placed blocks I have, the less places there'll be for unclean to appear within my land. Now, it's not necessary, but I really like the idea that Minecraft has where you need water irrigation near your farm plots in order for crops to grow. This is the reason I actually chose this spot in the first place. It has water gullies that run along the side of the farm. Now, I'm going to dig trenches to bring this water all around my farm so that every space where I grow has decent water access. I've dug trenches all over my land now, and I wanted to use the water bucket to spread the water throughout, but it wasn't really working. So instead, I opted to use this developer water block that seems to work a little bit better for this purpose. Let's see what it looks like. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Now it's time to dig up hundreds of meters of soil and replace it with carefully crafted farm plots. I'll be planting as many of my crops that I have at the moment, and eventually, I'll have enough to fill the whole farm. Okay, here's what I have at the moment. There's a lot more farm plots to be added, but I need a bit more time to grow and reproduce some more crops and make more farm plots. Unfortunately, they take quite a bit of time. Now, let me show you the current state of the farm and the farmhouse. Here it is, Arduous Acres. Named after the copious amount of work required to build it, it's just over 2 acres of food growing heaven. Nearly every inch is player-placed blocks. We have crops on both sides of the drive and every side of the house. From corn to goldenrod to cotton to blueberries, we have it all at Arduous Acres. We even have a greenhouse for the plants that like a warmer environment. On the east side boundary wall, I installed some lethal shotgun turrets and spotlights for that extra layer of assurance. Inside the house, I went for a warm and cozy decor style. Bare rugs, candles, open fires, and leather couches make this room a luxurious hideout from the unclean ones. I even have some old relics from the past, like old newspapers, from before things went completely feral. The kitchen is where all my delicious fruit and veg is stored and cooked. I have 2 log fire stoves as well as a fridge for cold storage, and a ham radio, just in case someone else is out there. The The main bedroom sports a double king-size bed, along with some other luxuries. Outside, I connected a moat to all my irrigation ducts, so my house has another layer of defense. And I've always wanted to say I have a moat. Out back, I have the water collection deck with 12 dew collectors running overtime. The deck is right beside my secret garden grotto, where I have my pond and small pond island for relaxation. This is where I like to sit in calm contemplation and repent for my sins. And that is Arduous Acres, a farm for hard but honest work. Wow, and there we have it. Food will no longer be a thought or a concern, and I can finally start eating more than just bacon and eggs every day. I'll also now be able to make serious amounts of cloth and glue with the cotton and supercorn growing below. Now I'm currently on day 99. Imagine that. Just a few hours away from day 100. And for day 100, I have an idea on how to properly mark the occasion. See if you can guess what I'm planning. I have to take a little bit of a drive first. Do you remember this? Does this look familiar to you, this place? And survival isn't guaranteed. Welcome to my adventure through the end of the world. Let's see how long we make it through this night. That's right. We're back where it all began on day 1, when I woke up next to Alistair's cabin in the woods, with a note telling us just how badly we had screwed up in our previous life. I think I'm gonna build some kind of statue here. And there we go. We're in day 100. Woo! We'll have this statue finished by the end of the day, or before the end of the day for sure. I think that looks pretty cool. Putting on the lanterns. There we go, it's a cool little statue. My commemorative statue has been completed, and that is leading us closer to the end of the episode. I do want to do a little walk through memory lane on my way back to the farm, if you'll allow me. It is the place where I first acquired my lethal little bone knife that got me through my first few days. We've gone from a low-level scrounger on day 1 to a highly seasoned level 100 and something master of the apocalypse. Here's Johnnytown, the POI so large I made a full video out of it when I was just beginning. God be with you. Here's the road where I nearly got overwhelmed by just a few zombies on the first few days.
Here comes a new challenger!
I used to add quite a few sound effects to my videos back then. And here's the chunk of fence I jumped up on when I tried to avoid that horde of zombies that appeared in the middle of the night when I was trying to complete that quest. Oh yeah, and here's the crypt. I did some of my earlier quests. Quite a few memories in this town already, and I plan on making many more. I truly hope you'll be along with me for the journey. I've enjoyed having you tag along with me for my adventures so far anyway. This means that the end of today's adventure is at hand. A lot was done. I moved into the church. I built that gasoline farm in the desert. A desert horde was vanquished, and Arduous Acres was built in full. Now that actually does remind me, I must check that off my list. There we go. Now unfortunately that means it is time for us to part ways. But as usual, I will leave you with some words for you to carry in your mind until we meet again. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength, yet it was good of you to share in my troubles. So remember who helps you do all things when you trust in Him. Until next time, God be with you, friends. Hello again, friendo. Glad to see you made it to the end of the Supercut. It was a long one, so well done. Thanks for sticking around and going on this adventure with me. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was a full 100 hours in the making, cut right down to just over 3. In that 100 hours, we have laid a really strong foundation for Peacemaker Grove. Future builds will be easier and quicker now that we have all the factories and farms built. Basically, all of our material and resource needs are pretty much met now. The next build I'm looking at tackling is the church wall and the garage. They should be good fun. I hope you can make it to the next adventure. You're pretty good company to have around, I'll tell you that much. But that's all for now, my friend. We had a long journey together, but we must depart. So, as usual, I'll leave you with something to think about until we meet again. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build. Unless the Lord guard the city, in vain does the guard keep watch. It is vain for you to rise early and put off your rest at night. To eat bread earned by hard toil, all this God gives to His beloved in sleep. So build for the right reason, otherwise it may all be in vain. Goodbye for now, friend. God bless.